I went to school to become an elementary school teacher, and my focus was on pre-K to second grade. So a lot of my training was built around classrooms where students need a lot of support, but also classrooms where students are going to be moving around to learning stations and centers, and teachers kind of recognize the need to teach to the level of each kid because there can be such a diverse range of levels in a kindergarten classroom. It's just a big part of the training that you get in early childhood education. And I had a phenomenal education at University of Georgia, and they gave me lots of opportunities to work in the field. While I was in university, and I think one of the really important pieces of the background that led me to this style was that instead of working with younger students, I became a community counselor, typically working with teens and some adults that were involved with the Department of Juvenile Justice or the Department of Family and Children Services. So things like foster children, or maybe kids who had maybe a minor offense and were placed on probation. And the goal at all times was to help that child maintain their placement. If that placement was in the home, with their family, if that placement was in a group home or wherever they were, but we obviously want to keep kids in their placement. And a lot of these kids had already been targeted as failures. Even when you walked into the home, everything you heard was their problems. When you walked into the school, everything you heard was about how bad things were going. And it really had to teach me to shift the way we set goals for each person, because each kid did have the capacity to maintain their placement. And that's not really the same type of goal that a kid in a typical 8th or 9th grade classroom is being given, where they're asked to improve their reading or writing. This was really about their capacity to experience life, to be in a classroom, to be able to participate in society with other people. I wasn't given any goals about their academics. Instead, I was given goals about their character. And I found that the number one way to do that was really to get to know each kid individually and kind of awaken them this feeling that they were capable of being successful in this world. And one of the things I learned about a lot of those kids was that because they had been told that they were a failure, often academically or socioeconomically, because they had been told that for so long, they attempted to break down any system that would cause them to be called a failure. And one of the ways they did that is to basically find other skills via which they could have power and industry. That might be from being a person who can disrupt whatever they want to disrupt. That might be a person who's physically stronger than everyone else, or louder than everyone else, or dangerous. And in those ways, they could find this sense of self and identity and be successful in those settings. All you really had to do was help them understand that they had the capacity to succeed in this world. And so what we would do is we'd go pick them up in their homes, we'd spend time in their homes, but also out in the community. And I used to tell people a lot of my job was essentially walking around town, just hanging out, saying hello to people, interacting with people, walking into shops, walking down the streets, saying hello. And as that would happen, you know, you open up these moments with the kids where they sort of recognize the power of their charisma, the power of being kind to others. And people see that in them. People don't ask their writing level or their reading level. They would immediately recognize some of the things that they do in their interpersonal skills, and they start to feel successful.